Auburn's paying its roster so much money, and man, it just doesn't feel like it.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zac Blackerby, and thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. We're dapping it up with the Darrell Dapprich, Montgomery radio legend, hanging out with us. Later in today's show, we will predict every game for the remainder of the season. How gloomy is this about to be? We'll see. We'll see. But Darrell, you pointed me in the direction of a graphic that the Next Round put out. They were quoting numbers previously from On3, where Auburn is 8th in the SEC when it comes to reported NIL spending on how much the roster costs. And to me, it's like, okay, they've got Auburn spending $12.3 million ahead of Missouri and Florida and South Carolina, Ole Miss, Arkansas, Miss State, Kentucky, Vandy. And like, one, I think that number's low, not the conversation we're having today. But I just feel like the product should be better. Like, you should be significantly better than some of those teams that you're spending more than. And I think if those two teams play right now, I don't think Auburn would be able to score enough points to win. Yeah,
not a conversation for today, but I agree with you. And it even makes it worse because I think that number is low. So it's even more of an issue if that number's higher.
That number might be lower for everybody, though.
Yeah, that's true. So the relevancy of it may be that Auburn is 8th, and they're not getting that type of production.
No.
So that points to two things. Did you spend too much money on players that you misevaluated, or is the coaching staff not getting what they need to get out of those players? Either way, it's an indictment upon who's leading the program. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. And I think a lot of this is, okay, who nailed it with their quarterback selection? Because like, you're looking at some of the teams that have lesser spending, but Ole Miss has two quarterbacks better than anything Auburn has right now. Today. Arkansas adding Taylor Green in the portal multiple years ago now. Mississippi State, Kentucky, whatever. But Vanderbilt spending just $4 million. I mean, I hope they're giving all of that to Diego Pavia. But even like the schools ahead of them, like Auburn had opportunities to get other guys in the portal. Hugh Freeze said, "Hey, no, Jackson Arnold's our guy." And right now, that seems like it was a bad bet. Like that seems like that's a big core issue of all of it. But Hugh Freeze knew this. Hugh Freeze knew he messed up. He's 0 for 2. Pick Peyton Thorne, said, nope, I'm okay running it back with Peyton Thorne, which I think in hindsight is more egregious. But now, like with Jackson coming in, it's like, well, maybe it's not even the quarterbacks. Maybe it's the system. But regardless, there's been an issue there that has not really gotten any better, does not seem to be addressed at all. And that is 100% on Hugh Freeze and no one else.
Well, I've always said that, it's a no-brainer that the two most important jobs of a head coach is talent evaluation and then coaching talent to their optimal performance, right? I mean, so recruiting goes into talent evaluation, so does who you get in the portal. And I think I'm starting to really, really get concerned and come around on the fact that there's been a lot of misevaluations. The first time we saw any semblance of this was the wide receivers 2 years ago.
Sure.
Miss. Peyton Thorne, miss. Now people will say, is it Peyton Thorne? Is it the system? Whatever. Auburn's missed on some offensive.
I don't know. I mean, so far this year, I feel like maybe we were too hard on Peyton. I'm just gonna be honest. Like I'm at that point where it's like maybe it was Freeze this whole time.
Think about the most effective offensive players for Auburn in the last couple years. This is a great drill to prove exactly
on offense.
On offense, give me the top 3 or 4 performers.
Give me a time frame. Hugh Freeze era.
Hugh Freeze era. Who has performed the best offensively? Give me 2 or 3 names.
Jarquez Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
Gunnar Britton.
Let's do
Skill players.
skill players. Yeah.
Keandre Lambert-Smith.
Okay. Cam Coleman.
Obviously.
Jeremiah Cobb this year.
Malcolm. I mean, we saw more of Malcolm last year, sadly, and so far this year.
All but one of those was recruited from a high school standpoint, not got in the portal.
Okay.
So I wonder if the high school now he inherited Cobb, Alston, and Jarquez Hunter.
Sure.
And those guys really performed. The two of them have really performed. Coleman, he evaluated, but me and you could have. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, that's like saying I see talent in Cam Newton. Anybody that he had to go out and evaluate other than Keandre Lambert-Smith. Now Singleton's starting to come on. I think he's playing well.
Yeah, I think if we're winning, I think we talk about Singleton differently.
But defensively, on the defensive side of the ball, we've seen a lot more shining stars perform and do well that came in the portal. Kieron Crawford's coming on. Jalen McLeod, is coming on. I'm trying to think if anybody else. Jaron Thompson last year had a decent year and really helped. So Xavier Atkins, hello. All these
even like role players, right? Like even like Elijah McAllister. I mean, he wasn't an all-pro or an NFL player, but like solid college defensive lineman. Yeah.
DJ James.
Yeah, right.
The defense has been littered with guys that have really, really performed well that were in the portal. So I think besides it starts with evaluating talent. And I think that there is a very, very much of a void there. That we talk about game plan, we talk about scheming, we talk about play calling. Let's talk about choosing the wrong quarterback. Let's talk about a couple offensive tackles not panning out.
Once again, though, if you're good somewhere else,
a tight end
transfer here.
Yeah. At
some point when it's at scale, you got to say, I don't know.
Auburn whiffed on the tight end. I mean, we not with Fairweather. Fairweather last year, in all credit, was a portal guy, and he was a
we should have said that one.
Yeah, we should have said Fairweather. But Preston Howard hasn't panned out.
He's been really bad, and I hate it.
This way, you can always bring examples of one or two, but more. Let's just say more than not, it's been a miss.
Well, and I'm real big on and I said this. There was a big thing under Gus where it's only the JUCO guys were good, or I'm tired of getting JUCO players or whatever. I'm like, I don't care how you get them. Just get players that can play and help you win. I don't really care about the high school portal stuff. Now, I do think there are elements of it that are important, right? Like you want to backfill. I also, people are going to hate this, but I don't think development is as important now as it used to be with the portal, especially if the offseason goes the way you and I think is going to go. Whether it's Freeze or another coach is going to have to come in and get guys through the portal quickly in December, and you just got to get guys. You got to evaluate and put guys into a system. I don't think it's as important as it used to be. Now, if you want to sustain and be excellent, you got to get guys out of high school, which is what Hugh Freeze's model was. He just can't put them in situations to succeed, which is an issue. We all assumed that was going to happen, and it just hasn't, and that's on us for making that assumption.
I get the development piece, but when you go get guys in the portal, you have to evaluate them properly that they come in and make an immediate impact.
In your system. Because Chaplin was great. And we would have the same kind of, let's say.
I want to talk about that for 1 second. I got a text from somebody that I thought let's do that
in a second.
Yeah, because this is important. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. As far as, because I think you can kind of tie the comparison to other guys too. So that's next, right here on Locked On Auburn. Today's show brought to you by our friends at Mazda. Mazda crafts cars for those who do more than simply move. Mazda delivers confidence with every ride, with more IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus awards than anyone else. From footwork to breathwork, athletes sweat all the details. Mazda does the same. They bring the same intention to how they craft every model. Like our players, we sweat every detail because when you make every move count, impossible becomes irrelevant. Mazda, move and be moved. Today's show also brought to you by our friends at Monarch Money. Monarch Money is great when you have stuff kind of spread out, whether it's different retirement accounts for maybe previous employers, or your own IRAs, your Roths, whatever it might be. If you got property somewhere, your mortgage, you can bring it all in one. It's so easy to just kind of let stuff slip out into the ether and, you hope you remember it in the future. Monarch Money is great. It can help with budgeting and all that, your day-to-day stuff, as well as your big picture wealth building stuff over at Monarch Money. So don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONCollege. Darrell Dapprich hanging out with us on today's edition of Locked On Auburn. Yeah, Xavier Chaplin has been a big part of a lot of the conversations when people are discussing potential changes that Auburn should do moving forward. You referenced a text you got specifically about Chaplin. Keep going.
Longtime listener of the show made a point, and he texted me, he said, is the problem with Chaplin the fact that he played against ACC and lesser competition last year and looked so much better? Now that he's playing against the best conference in America, it's showing, the cracks. And that's a really good point. I didn't think about it. I mean, he was excelling against an ACC schedule at Virginia Tech. That's not the same as the SEC. Now, I know you line up. I mean, Reuben Bain plays in the SEC. I mean, there's some dudes, but still, I think night in, night out, you're not seeing the athletes along the defensive front that you are at Oklahoma and Texas A&M when you're playing Duke, North Carolina State, Georgia Tech, Pitt.
Here's where I push back on that. Is it doesn't matter how good they are if you can't stay on sides. That's not an opposition.
That's true. That's true.
Some of the folks we've talked to says communication's not getting there, or like he's not thinking fast enough. I don't think that's an ACC to SEC thing. I'm just being honest with you.
It could be in one aspect of it. This is sad to say, but I would love to go back and see last year what the most hostile stadiums he played in the ACC. As opposed
to because he can't hear.
Yeah, and he's talked about he couldn't hear. He said he couldn't hear. That was absolutely out there and prevalent and known that he could not hear. Now,
man, I'm just watching. After we're done with all of our post game stuff, but then like Saturday night, you turn on Oregon playing in Penn State, and it's just like
I'm not making excuses for him. I'm just saying that the ACC, some of the stadia, it's still a deficiency. It's still not acceptable. It's
just such a controllable variable in your practice that, like, okay. Like
again, I'm not saying that.
I understand. I understand.
It's still wrong. It still should keep him off the field.
And I'm not saying it's all on Chaplin. I'm saying like whether he's prepared or not is like, I think a lot of this is coaching. And I don't know if I've said it when I've been on with you, but I think the play calling does not help our offensive line at all. I don't think the play calling helps. Can you name one player on the offense where the play calling has benefited? For sure, they're forcing it to Cam and Eric, but like I don't think they're like benefiting from it.
Nope, nobody.
Jackson's not benefiting from it.
Jeremiah
running backs aren't.
He's not getting enough touches to benefit from it.
No, the offensive line. It's like, all right, we're passing it.
Brandon Frazier,
maybe this past week, sure. This past week, he really benefited. Yeah. So, and maybe Eric is because they're doing different things, but I feel like that would be so much more explosive, potentially explosive, if the threat of the handoff was there. So I don't know. It's just so backwards. It's so strange to me how we've gotten to this point. It's sad. It's very, very sad because once again, like they promised to all these guys, come in and help us build something and help us win. And you're not helping them win.
And that's the ironic part is that, again, I would not feel this way if Auburn was 3-2. I expected them to be 3-2. What a difference would it make if Auburn loses that game 35-31? We're talking about a whole different feel, up and down the field, moves the ball on offense, is proficient. This is a different conversation we're having on Wednesday.
Mean, is there another school that has now hired several offensive head coaches, and we just haven't had an offense? Like the last half of Gus,
yeah,
Carson, Now, Hugh, it's like we want an offense so bad here, and we're just tired of it. I mean, I've never seen the Auburn fan base do this before. We always argue about everything. It's always pretty split down the middle, or maybe it's 70-30, but that 30's loud and valid points. I mean, even during like the Harsin drama.
Yeah.
Like, and then when Hugh was hired, there was obviously, I've never seen us this in line after this loss. I've never seen anything like it with this fan base. Have you?
No, and it's the way they lost. It's not that they lost, it's the way they lost. Again, if you lose 35-31, something like that, or it's a whole people be like, well, A&M's pretty explosive. Defense did their part as long as they could. The way they lost, the absolute embarrassment that Texas San Antonio and another team, Utah State, put triple the amount of yards and points on the board than Auburn did.
Yeah. Darrell, I had so many comments because I haven't really given A&M a ton of credit because I was like, I still don't think their defense is great. And they're like, oh, they held you to 150 yards. I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry, A&M. And y'all may be great defensively the rest of the way. And I may just be wrong, but I'm not going to take that bet. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think A&M is average defensively when you talk about the top teams in the SEC or when you talk about teams in the top 10. I think this is going to come back and be like, oh, Auburn, that they should have won that game. Let me tell you something I'm horrified of, and we'll talk about it when we're picking the rest of the season in a second. I already feel it coming, regardless of how the season goes until they play Arkansas, regardless of what happens against Georgia and Missouri. But when the week where we go to Arkansas, what the conversation is going to be. Oh, their defense is terrible. I got a text throughout this past week. Arkansas's got the worst defense in the P4. And I'm like, I'm not pushing back on that. But what if we go to Arkansas and score 14 points? It's like, goodness gracious.
Yeah, I don't see that happening just because I think that Baylor's defense is better than Arkansas's. And I know that Oklahoma's is a ton better. And Auburn should have had 24? Well, 17. They had 17 offensively.
He has to run the ball, though, Darrell. I don't think he can do it with Jackson throwing it.
No, he's got it. I would, whatever game plan they used against Baylor, I would go back to that.
I just don't understand how you can't do that. Like at halftime, be like, okay, sorry, Damari, sorry, Jeremiah, sorry, Jackson, sorry, offensive line, sorry, wide receivers. Bad game plan on our part. We're gonna slow this down. We're gonna run it. We're gonna play really good defense.
And they look very.
How do you not make that change at halftime?
No, I don't know, and I don't know why they look so basic. No eye candy, no movement, none of that. It looks so predictable. That's the other thing that's maddening to me.
Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. All right, let's predict how the rest of the season goes. Let's just do it. That's next, right here on Locked On Auburn. Today's show brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. Darrell, the SEC or FanDuel dropped the SEC betting odds for the rest of the season. Did you see this? They have Auburn at plus 1,900 to win the SEC. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is the 6th best odds to win the SEC regular season in the conference. Do you agree with that? Florida leading the way, then Kentucky, Arkansas, Alabama, Tennessee, then Auburn. Do you think that's fair? No.
You're talking about, said that again?
FanDuel is giving Auburn the 6th best odds in the SEC to win the conference.
In basketball.
In basketball.
Yeah, I do agree with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Hey, right now you can bet $5. And if your first $5 bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets if you win. So pick a bet, put $5 down. If it hits, you unlock $300 to use across the app. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. Today's show also brought to you by our friends at Square. You guys love Square with your company, Darrell.
Very good out and about, mobile. It's great to have. Yep.
The versatility, right? I mean, they love supporting small businesses. They call them, your neighborhood spots. And a lot of the times versatility is a big part of that. Whether you're vending at somewhere or you've got your own brick and mortar, like versatility is crucial. And Square also knows that their local neighborhood businesses are crucial as well. Square is a proud partner of over 4 million neighborhood businesses around the world. You can go to square.com/go/lockedoncollege to learn more. But before you do, go support your favorite neighborhood spot. You'll be happy to. Square, see you in the neighborhood. Thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. Let's do this. I don't think this is going to be fun, but let's do this. Predicting Auburn's remaining schedule after the bye week. And let's just go over real quick what we predicted going into the season. We both predicted Georgia to lose to Georgia, and then we both predicted that Auburn would beat Missouri, beat Arkansas, beat Kentucky, beat Vandy, beat Mercer. I predicted they would lose the Iron Bowl. You said that they would win the Iron Bowl. Mm-hmm. That's correct, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, so now, like I did going into the season, I don't think there's any shot we beat Georgia.
Yeah, I felt that there was a couple weeks ago, but I will change that to that's a loss.
All right, Missouri, a game that we both thought Auburn would win. Missouri, some of this is both. Auburn's worse than I thought they would be. Missouri's better than I thought they would be. I don't care if it's at home. I think Auburn loses that game, though.
I think Auburn wins that game.
You still think Auburn wins it?
I do.
That would be such a huge win.
Well, I told you that there's a very good possibility that Auburn could lose 3 games in a row. The fan base would be going crazy, wanting Hugh Freeze's job, and then Auburn would win out after that.
That could happen. It could happen.
Yep.
I don't know if it's likely, but it could happen. At Arkansas, I still think Auburn wins this game.
I do too.
Kentucky at home, I think Auburn wins.
I do too.
At Vandy, I think Auburn loses.
I think Auburn wins. I'm not sold yet. We'll find out a lot about Vandy Saturday. But again, I'll go back to this.
Yeah.
Yes, they are proficient offensively. But Utah State, who people say, oh, they're a dangerous football team, dropped 35 on that defense. I know you're going to say it. So what? So what? I just have a feeling that Auburn's going to have some of its offensive problems figured out.
Their defense was not good last year. We scored 7 points.
Yeah. Again,
I understand.
I think that this will be, even if they have to get back to the basics and be simple and run it against Vanderbilt. You can't beat Georgia that way defensively, but you can Vanderbilt. It could be a shootout. I just really loves Auburn's defense against Pavia. I love that matchup. I love Auburn's defense. So
no, I think we said that last year.
I think they can neutralize. They neutralized him last year.
They did.
So I think they do it again. Yep.
And then Mercer at home, whatever, and then Alabama at home.
I've changed it. Alabama's looking better. I think Alabama.
No, they figured it out. Yeah,
I think they win that game. So I have Auburn going 7-5.
So your only change is the Iron Bowl moving forward.
Yep.
Curious what people's thoughts will be on that. I tell you, I mean, if we beat Missouri at home, I mean that's huge.
Wait a minute. Yeah, 7-5 because it would be Georgia.
No, you had them at 9-3.
No, that would be 8-4 in my scenario. 8-4 in my scenario. Yes. Yep. And you have them going 6-6.
Your adjusted prediction is what mine was going into the season.
Right.
And then I've added 2 losses.
But you still have them going, but you have them going 6-6. Yep. And going to a bowl.
True. Going to a bowl. And if they beat Missouri, though, I reserve the right to change all that.
Absolutely. But again, I thought they were going to be 3-3 coming out of this stretch, and people were going to absolutely panic and say this is ridiculous. But in all fairness, I didn't think it would look like this. I didn't think it would look like this. It looks different than I thought it was going to look coming to 3-3.
Yeah, my concern is how long does the whole close thing work in the locker room with both the receivers and the defense? I mean, just hearing from folks, like the frustration's there, but you're losing. Like you lost 2 games that you felt like you had a shot at. Like
you win one game
to some extent.
You win one game at home against a ranked opponent, and it
changes everything.
It changed the trajectory of the whole year. And I've seen Auburn teams and other teams be right where this team is, looked inept, look horrible on offense, lose a couple in a row, season look lost, won 1 game, and they ended up winning 8. So, I mean, I'm just telling you, it could happen. I'm not saying it will happen, but anybody that thinks that it absolutely, positively, no way, you guys are stupid, Darrell drug test, that's not true. It's happened before.
Darrell drug test.
Auburn's offense looked about as inept as I've seen.
It was so bad.
This against the 2016 when they barely beat LSU because Carlson's leg had to get iced after the game. And all of a sudden, Malzahn. Now, will Hugh Freeze be willing to do this? Malzahn said, enough with the bells and the whistles and all that. I'm giving the ball to Petway, who didn't have hardly any carries those first 3 games. And Auburn went on a run where they won 6 in a row. And Petway not got hurt and pulled up with his hamstring, and Sean White not hurt his shoulder. Auburn could have had a really special season that year. But remember, that 2016 season kind of was the springboard for what happened in 17.
That's right. Yeah.
Although Stidham came in and White went out, but there were still guys, Slayton, Carry On, the offensive line that started. They emerged in 16. So we'll see.
How can people check out everything you've got going on?
Follow me on X, DAP6410, Wednesdays and Fridays, here with you on Locked on Auburn in the Barncast, 8 p.m. live on Sunday nights.
Please like the video. Please subscribe. We will see you next time. This has been Locked on Auburn.